Here we go. Doing another job on a gravity-fed system, replacing a load of lockshield valves with TRVs. So we're going to stick the hose on it, start getting it drained down, turn off the water, and whilst the water's off, we're going to go upstairs and we're going to put in an isolation valve leading up to the header tank. Reason being, don't have one on there so that we can turn the valve off and then we can turn on the stop tap so the customer can use their toilets and most importantly, fill up the kettle. So now that we've done that, we can open up all of the vents on the radiators, let some air in so that the water can go out without being airlocked. And we're just going to do some prep. So I'm replacing 15 radiator valves. So 15 times 2, 30. And so I wanted to PTFE up 30 tails. Lovely. So now that's all done, I've got my jobbing bag out, which is just a bag that I can carry around with me, nice and light, rather than carrying everything. I can just carry exactly what I need. So we're going to start by loosening off the valves, now that the system is all drained down. Putting under a waterproof dust sheet and a plumb tub. That's what that blue thing is called, a plumb tub. There is a link at the bottom if you want to check it out. There's also a deal, 2 plumb tubs, so 1 for each side of the radiator for 15 quid. Now, whoever put these on, probably in the 70s, must have been a gorilla. It was probably a gorilla. It weren't a human being. Because these nuts were so stupidly tight, it was a real pain to get off. But I must admit, I am feeling it after today. 30 valves, and my arms are like lead. So now that I've removed everything, we're just going to be replacing everything. So, replace the tail going in, so it's all nice and chrome rather than the brass. Had to be done. And then we're going to put the new TRVs on, and also on the other side, he's brought them in kits, the lock shields as well. Now, there are a couple like this, where there is nothing I can do to put a new valve on there without replacing the pipework, because the gorilla had way over tightened them. And it's worse to over tighten pipes than it is to not tighten them up enough, have a little leak, just tighten them up, crank them up to however to seal. Now, if you over tighten them, you end up busting the pipe and then you're just in a world of trouble. So now that all the 30 valves are on, as you can see, 1, 2, don't worry about that, it's just where it leaked through the dust sheet, so it's not black and horrible, and I'll make sure it's all clean. There you go, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a lot of radiators, 15 radiators. So they're all done, and come back tomorrow when I'm going to be filling and venting. Right, so filling and venting, that's what we're doing on this video. If you haven't checked out last video, it was me swapping over all of the radiator valves. And as always, on a Friday, the Friday video will always be sponsored by DPS. They are my go-to whenever I want something nice, cheap and cheerful, like Inhibitor. I don't care about branded Inhibitor, just use their one. Right, so, I know you've already rushed to the comments to go, oh, you're not supposed to put it in the tank. Well, guess what? I've got a trick for you. So, put it in the tank, let it fill up, turn off the isolation valve, then bleed the radiator at the bottom of the house so that it gets deep into the system. Don't worry, it's not going to be just sat in that tank forever. Going to pull it through the system all the way to the bottom. So, get the bottom one filled up. Also filled up another radiator halfway. Just make sure that that tank was completely drained out. Now we go back up. Turn the valve back on. And we're going to start downstairs bleeding all of the radiators. So, here we go. Look at that big bastard I had to bleed. That took ages, because at the end of the day, it's a gravity-fed system. It does take ages. So now all of the bottom ones are done. Go upstairs, bleed all of those. Now we can turn the boiler back on. Now we're going to turn the temperature right up, get it all nice and hot. Sometimes on gravity-fed heat-only boilers, sometimes you just got to reset them a couple of times just to get the boiler to kick in where it's airlocked. So we're going to let that run, and we're going to make sure the one in the hallway is open, because they're both lock shield valves. And then we'll just go around all of the radiators and gently open them up. So, waiting for it to heat up, so we're going to go out, have a nice cup of tea. Now, there's a couple of radiators, still cold, so what you need to do, you need to just open them up. And I'll turn the volume up, and I'm going to go quiet now. and as you can hear, you can hear the water start flowing through them as you open up the lock shield valves. So when I start, that all turned off. That way I just crank them open and then you can balance it nice. That's how I balance them, and just make sure that all of them get hot. Lastly, once the heating's been on for quite a while, it'll push all of the air to the top of the system. We'll just go around, we're just going to really gently bleed those. Now, there's a couple of things that people were asking. Number one, why didn't I use Rapid Blue? Rapid Blue is no good if there's any water in the pipework. Now, gravity fed system, it took ages to drain down. Even when I took them off, I had to put a plumb tub and a waterproof dust sheet underneath because there was still a little bit of water coming out, a little bit of black sludge in those threads. Not worth using. I might as well go old school, just use PTFE. My hands were like cramping after I'd done 30 rad tails. The thing people were asking was how many wraps of PTFE do I do? I actually don't count. I just do it until I can't see the thread anymore, and then I pinch it and I sort of turn it, and then so that you can see it, pushes it in so you can see the thread. The other thing as well was, why didn't I bung it? It's such a little F&E tank, and it was so clean. Well, as soon as I started draining it down, I saw how clean it was. I thought there's no point bunging this, it'll be absolutely fine. And it was, luckily, filling back up.
And don't be a bus wanker, although that would still be better than being a plumbing wanker.
That's not too bad, actually, that little light. Right, I'm off today, and I'm off for the rest of the week. So video is going to be a bit thin. Hence finding something to put together for you guys. But yeah, if you like this sort of thing, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all of that good stuff, and then leave me any suggestions of things that you would like to see, because I can pull stuff at my ass at the minute. I've got loads and loads of videos, and maybe we could do a compilation of like loads of different kitchen tap washers, or we could do a load of different fill valves, or we could do something like that. I don't know. Or we could do some, I've got some unvented jobs that we could put to sort of squabble together. But let me know in the comments, and you can have what you want, basically.